Hey,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bingo.
remember us? The Eat the Cake?
Hello. Hola.
It's been a while. We missed you guys. I miss
Yeah.
my crew. I miss Jackie, EJ. How you guys been? The last month we haven't seen each other.
These years have been rough.
Forever.
The
rough.
years have been rough.
As many shows as I'm watching, it feels like it's been years. But
Yeah.
no, it's been. I've been looking forward to this because it's been too long. It really has.
Yeah, man,
Agreed.
work's been really riding me, as Jim Carrey would say in Liar Liar.
Agreed. That's what happens when you get 3 adults with lives to try to
with
try
jobs.
to do with jobs to try to do shows. And, when we find time, we come here and we put together a good show for you. So to try to stay on topic, because the 3 of us, we get to talking and we be on here for a 3-hour show. We're just gonna get straight to it. Last episode, towards the end, we started joking about horrible live action adaptations of beloved anime, and we were just like, you know what? There's enough of these things out there. We could probably do a show talking about the ones that are good, which are few and far between. I think there may be some hidden gems out there, but of course, for every decent live adaptation, you have just the fucking diabolical, just
You have the Attack on Titans.
Yeah. Straight ick.
the
Skibbity
diaper
toilet,
movie. Yeah.
as the kids say.
as the youth say.
Yes.
But before we get into that, just want to make sure we do our toast here.
I'm ready.
EJ did the last one. How about you give a toast, Jackie?
Oh,
What do you want to tell our supporters and our fellow anime heads out there?
it's been a long road. These live shows just really make us irate, but it's okay. We're sticking in there, and just come with us as we really let our aggressions out tonight.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Banzai.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Pineapple soju for the win.
Spicy.
Oh.
I gotta change it. I gotta stop doing Jose Cuervo.
Ooh, yeah, you do.
There's so many. There's way better tequila out there.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, fellow anime heads, without further ado, let's get in to episode 19 of Eat the Cake Anime Live.
The following is a presentation of the That Feeling Podcast Network, reminding you to always question the answers.
Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Eat it. Eat the cake. Yeah. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Well, all right. I bet you thought you stumbled on another podcast. Of course you're right, but let me tell you about the contrast. It's really different, not an exit from the Comcast. We cover anime today and other times past. Listen and learn in that order, then replay. Be entertained by Mac, Jackie, and EJ. 3 hosts doing way more than the most, proving you can pay the lion, but it's all in the approach. Originals and sequels, the newbies and the Ichigos. The world's up in flames to the ones more peaceful. The weapons of the Shuto, manga, Naruto, Monkey D. Luffy, and a lot more that you know. Subscribe, hit the like, give the algorithm life once. We trying to get the same pie that Apple took a bite from. Join the conversation, let us know if you can relate. If not, you still might be forced to eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime.
I missed that.
So did I.
Dope song. Shout out to the man MRK.
Absolutely.
Well, we hinted towards it. We're going to talk about it. So we'll just get right into our main course for the evening, which is these live adaptations.
You know, that's kind of a tease because you show some really good ramen, but we're about to talk about some really shitty.
Oh man,
Valid.
That looked really good.
Valid. However, here we are talking about these things, and I will say, when these first started becoming prevalent over here in the West, I think it was a while back, probably like 2016. I was playing Xbox, and they got the whole Xbox store, and they're like, oh, it's anime month, right? So you can go download some anime movies and stuff. But then I saw Attack on Titan live anime, and I was just like, ooh, it's only $4.99. Let me go ahead and buy this thing. I was so upset. At $5. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, like Netflix just started recently, back in 2017, 2018, they were just like, let's give this a shot. And these were movies that were released in Japan, but then Netflix would go and buy them and then stream them on their platform, thinking that they're gonna like get some of the residue of this anime thing that was starting to build up, because they started putting, Seven Deadly Sins on their thing. They had Attack on Titan on there. They had Hunter x Hunter, and those things were getting a lot of streams. So they're like, well, let's bring in these things and see if we can get a little bit more money. However, as soon as they put them on the platform, they would probably see, some of the comments, some of the remarks, some of the reviews, and for whatever reason, not take them down. But
yeah, exactly.
You would think they'd be like, all right, that's enough. Let's not keep doing this. But they kept bringing more and more over, right? Some hits, like when they did One Piece, I think they did that one right by doing the episodic season thing instead of trying to jam everything in like fucking 120 minutes. But
Yeah.
with that being said, we have not punished ourselves by trying to watch as many live actions as possible, but we dabbled. We did some research. We saw some clips. We watched some trailers and looked at some reviews and come up with what we feel is a nice list of ones we hate. And I think we all have one that we're kind of like, it's not too bad, Maybe if they left this one in the oven a little bit longer, it'd be a little bit better. But compared to the other stuff, it's not as bad. But EJ, what are your thoughts on these live anime adaptations, from the first one you remember watching to what you see now with how Netflix is handling them now?
As far as Netflix, they've definitely learned. They've definitely got better, and I think that even with all the criticism, ones that come to mind that stand as an example that they're doing better. I think Cowboy Bebop was a great endeavor. It was very difficult. I don't think they did terrible, but it showed that they were willing to put a little more effort in than some of the previous installments. And then they really stepped it up with like One Piece. I feel like they did that justice. I could tell from the fans as well, their response, that they've really, they could feel the love that was put into that. People who have been following One Piece this whole time. So I think Netflix is moving in the right direction. Do they get things wrong? Absolutely. And I think that the like you mentioned, the 2016, 2017 year was that year where they kind of just really, I don't know, taking shots in the dark. Let's see what we could do with this. And the outcome was some of the garbage that we're going to be trying to sift through tonight. But I think that it's a great avenue to look at, especially since you've seen the success with so many things like comic books being brought into movies or young adult books being brought into movies. Of course, you're going to step into this very broad and imaginative world of anime. The manga that's fueled these animes and some of these, standalone animes have such interesting and original stories. It'd be dumb not to look into them as a an intellectual property to explore as part of, I'm going to make entertainment with this that can go towards groups who haven't really maybe taken a step into the animated world yet. And they're still stuck on a movie's got to be live action. Well, some of these might actually bring that person to come back and check out the source material. And I think that if they get this right, it could be a self, replicating situation where if you get them hooked on the live animation because you did a good job, to go check out the regular animation. Then they'll come back and check out a different one. So you can actually the harder they work, the better they do. They're making the industry grow. But we've seen the counter to that as well. So
Yeah. So Jackie, I just want to ask you. Eric did bring up some good points. Like these stories are so deep and involved in like it begs to be, if you could duplicate it or imitate it in another medium, why not, right? But what do you think is like the biggest hurdle trying to capture something like we'll say Full Metal Alchemist or Dragon Ball and try to just make it a feature film?
Well, CGI is going to be like the biggest thing because depending on when those shows were created compared to now being 2025 and what the show is able to do, like the anime itself, I think it's going to be the hardest thing that any director or special effects like creator is going to have to try and replicate to the best that they can without it looking like something from, if you guys remember watching Santa Claus with Tim Allen and the reindeers, like it looks terrible.
Back then it was so real.
Or like the claymations, right? Like let's just do what the claymations did,
Yeah.
wow.
I think that's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard to do. I mean, you look at like movies like Marvel and such and what they are able to put into it with CGI, and it's almost like you can't tell sometimes. It actually looks real. But a lot of these live actions, like they try to take what the animes replicate, especially the ones when there's powers involved. And Netflix does this with a lot of shows. It's so hard to make it look like someone's holding fire in their hand or trying to get this key that you can see and like blast it without it looking really ridiculous.
Right.
And I think that's probably, and I'm being kind right now. So I think when people get put on these projects and they're asked to do this, that's going to be a really difficult ask especially if you're given a budget that's probably not a lot. And then you're hoping that with whatever budget you get, you hope you get more out of it, with which a lot of these, that if you guys have like looked at, or if anyone else has ever seen it, they either make maybe like 20 million out of it, which might seem like a lot, but it's not for like what they were hoping they would get out of it. Because they got to pay people too. So yeah, 20 million, but think about the people and other things that they're in that are involved in it, and now you only get 20 million. Well, that 20 million could probably go really fast, and that's not a lot of money now.
I think you got it right there, Jackie, when you said like the people, because depending on who they throw in, and a lot of times when the Western world gets a hold of it, they look at it still like the Hollywood studio where you've got to have a recognizable face to sell it. And then they spend a lot of their budget there, when actually with anime, you don't need a recognizable face because they're supposed to be fulfilling a role that everyone else already kind of has an image of. What you need is to sell the world.
Yeah.
And like you said, CG is going to do it, or, the cinematography is going to do it. But I feel like they throw the budget like they do in a studio, Willie, I'm kind of interested because I think we all came up with this when we started talking about Solo Leveling coming out with live action. So what are you thinking as far as these special effects like Jackie was talking about coming out? How do you view that? Is it going to be able to be pulled off, or
if you're trying to, well, it just depends. If Hollywood is trying to bring in fans of that property who are probably only fans of that property based on the actual anime, the flashiness, all of that stuff, your budget is going to be ridiculous. I feel like Demon Hunter is doing it right. They got the popularity. They're putting out movies, but they are just doing animated movies, right? They're just staying animated. God, please do not let anybody, Hollywood or Tokyo or any studio, any movie production studio locate, I don't care, sit down and think we can do a live action Demon Slayer. We don't need that. There are certain things that just need to remain animated. I think people who are fans of video games, when their video games, their beloved games, get brought into a movie and that movie is done in live action, I'm pretty sure they are disappointed. I don't know one person who's gone to see a video game movie and it was live action. They're just like, oh, it's pretty good. People will die on the hill of Resident. The first Resident Evil wasn't. You know why people say that? Because of the next 9 that came out after it. They're like, of those 10, this one wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But if you played Resident Evil, you're like, what is this? You know,
the
like,
trash on top of the dumpster is always the least gross.
Yeah.
As you go further down, you're like, oh shit! Damn! This
Rotting.
dumpster. Yeah. So that's what you get with like Resident Evil.
Handicapping themselves when it comes to these beloved things. A Full Metal Alchemist, bro. You're talking about people using alchemy to fucking shift and morph things all over the place, and you're trying to do this thing with like an $80 million budget. Like, what are these visual effects going to look like? You know, I'm not. I'll admit when they're talking about they're going to do One Piece, I'm just like, good God. Like,
same. I thought the same thing.
The powers that these devil fruits bring these people,
Yes.
they're going to try to replicate this on this. Okay, Netflix.
But I will say for that one, in the earlier episodes, I think it's easier to replicate. My concern is that they're gonna continue to do this because they did get such a great like audience from it, because they did do a pretty decent job in my opinion.
Mhm.
But now as these seasons go, and I know how it goes,
Right.
that's my concern.
Yep. So with that being said, we can start with you, Jackie. Do you want to start telling us the ones you did? I think we should end the show on a good note and talk about the ones we think did well, did a good job with their adaptation. So let us know one of the many that you looked into where you're like, this shouldn't have seen the light of day.
I'm just gonna go right to the point, and I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Evolution.
Jesus.
Because which is
way to wrangle the worst one. There it is.
Let me move my chair. First of all, does this look like Goku? Like, what the fuck is this shit? And this guy right here next to him is supposed to be Master Roshi. What?
No attempt at all.
By the way, this chick right here, no offense to her because she's actually a pretty good actress. And so many people were like, why they do her like that? That's their interpretation of Bulma, but they decided to name her Mai for some reason. And then you can't see her, I don't think, but like next to Master Roshi is Chi-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
It's Master Roshi the early years.
Like
the
really one thing I wanted
years.
to talk about is like you have an anime. So for some of these, when I did do research, I did like want to talk about a little bit like this is what they were trying to compare or they were trying to replicate. So like Dragon Ball Z, for I think anyone in the world or most people, even if they've never watched anime, they know what Dragon Ball Z is. Like that's been around for years, since the 90s. Like it has over $30 billion in revenue since it first came out. Been 1984 to now. They've won so many freaking awards. So many different video games have been created with this. And like have won like best continuing series, best voice acting, even on the like English side. Like people have been praised. I always say this guy's name wrong, like Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat. Like, oh, that's right. It's been so long since I've seen Dragon Ball.
Oh, good catch
but
there.
But the thing is, like, the way they did it, though, like, if you want to bring Mai into it, sure, but also Bulma was a part of Dragon Ball as well. So I don't understand why they did it this way that they did, but whatever. We're gonna get into it. So. You have to compare like this series that everyone loves, like that kids, everyone like. I remember when I was 9 years old and I would be screaming Kamehameha on the playground to people, thinking that was going to do something, and then also going to the park that was behind my house, screaming Flying Nimbus, hoping that cloud would come.
The cloud was going to come again.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'm not even kidding.
We'll take my cloud.
So then, when this movie came out, there's over 800 episodes, 20 films, like. It's insane, right? So now you want to create a movie and you want to call it Dragon Ball Evolution. I don't know what kind of evolution that they were like trying to go for, but we definitely like.
Well, let me turn that down there.
Before they yell at us. Okay, cool. I'm like afraid that they're gonna like yell at us again, right?
It's fine.
So as we're watching this, I'm just gonna like talk about it. When the like movie starts, right? They're like, all right. When the warlord Piccolo, first of all, this is not a mafia. Okay. And no warlord is gonna call themselves Piccolo. All right. Second of all, why does he look like a cheaper version of handsome Squidward? And you'll see it when you see it. Okay, because that is literally what I thought of when I saw Piccolo. They decided to take this movie and instead of actually making it Dragon Ball Z-esque, they were like, no, let's make it into this kid who's in high school and add in the tropes and the cliches of the popular girl who's dating this asshole guy, but then Goku, which is him, ends up somehow beating up the popular guy. And she's like, oh my God, I love different guys. No, you don't, because you were literally with the freaking asshole dude that was the popular whatever. It's this whole thing. This is the scene, by the way, where he beats them up.
I mean,
And
studied cast to me.
There he is, the mask. I mean Piccolo.
Angry handsome Squidward. That is angry handsome Squidward. That's what
I thought it was Jim Carrey.
Or that the mask. That's what they did. They were like, "Oh, you guys ever seen The Mask? That was such
well. Hopefully they didn't. We'll just reuse it."
Yeah, and now let's add in some extra veins and do some high cheekbones because he really needs that.
And all sword action, just
And it was all surrounding Piccolo of this evil being that was supposedly sealed away, but somehow he got unsealed and showed up, and he's like, "Now I want to destroy everybody." And they added in sci-fi things, and there was no talk about the 4-star and why that's super important. They very skimmed over Gohan, and it was just all about these high school kids and this kid that had powers and wanted to get the girl and had to defeat Piccolo. And it's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. When I was a kid in 2009, I thought it was okay, but then I I didn't watch it again. I watched clips of it again over the past couple years, and then I decided to just rewatch clips the past week, and I don't know why I did that because it made me very angry and reminded me that this got a 2.5 out of 10 on IMDb for a reason.
It should.
It won obviously it won no awards, got no nominations, but it did get nominated for a Golden Schmo Award for the worst movie of the year in 2009.
It did get it. What's the other one called for horrible movies? The Razzies.
The Razzies, yeah.
When I researched it, no. Dude, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was 85 minutes long. And my thing is you focused your entire movie around Piccolo and this kid that has this key, which that was so annoying because this key was invisible and could open up lockers somehow, which I don't understand that. And the fight scenes between him and his grandfather are the dumbest fight scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. He gets thrown off this rope that him and his grandfather are balancing on, and instead of flying, he instead flies like this and just slides across the ground into some random watermelons. I don't understand.
It was just they didn't have the technology. They knew they didn't have the technology then. They're obviously on cables and wires getting pulled and yanked places. So that's why it just looks so. And the wild part is the same effects they use for a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but it looks way better in that.
Yes.
I think a lot of that too is because of the setting and the way in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's all based on their, the Chinese myths. And so you kind of get that flowingness with it where it doesn't work with Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball is supposed to feel more visceral and powerful. You know what I mean?
And this
Crouching
is
Tiger,
also
Hidden Dragon's more Tai Chi, flowing, smooth. Dragon Ball's fist in your throat kind of shit. It's but then it didn't convey that at all with the movie. You're just they have other movies where the beginning or the building up of Dragon Ball is all these great warriors and stuff on the planet, right? The greatest martial artists and so forth. And that's where you get the real story with Piccolo and everyone else,
Yeah, there's
Yamcha, everybody. And you're Krillin, Yamcha, everybody. And they didn't even touch that.
No.
They didn't touch it
because they wanted to keep it as these high school kids. They were creating it as this
they were trying to
trope of these kids with this popular girl, like all this stuff, and he's this kind of strong guy, but he doesn't become strong till the end.
Yeah.
And it's against this common enemy that came out of nowhere. And it's just like, I think that's one of those ones where like Dragon Ball Z never should ever be a live action. That's like a really hard one. I think if you ever wanted to make that live action, we should wait another 100 years, honestly, until technology can show that, because we cannot do that right now. And even if we tried now, 2025, where it's a little bit better, I still think it would look silly, because we've made some movies even now in the past 5 years, and they look like and show. So like, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, I will say the good thing about it that I thought was cool is the theme song is by Ayumi Hamasaki. It's called Rule, and she's one of my most favorite J-pop artists, so I like that part.
You're like, the music's good.
Yeah, and of course, 20th Century Fox is the one that was the studio for this.
Yeah.
So
They
shouldn't be making shows like that or movies like that.
When it's movies, well, if you're gonna adapt an established IP, you should probably get somebody who cares about it, wants to make sure it's done right and everything. Because what they did, they mashed so much into some outlandish story that you turned away fans of it. They, like, the fans that came to watch it thinking they were going to see, based on the trailer, if you went to the theater and watched that movie in hopes that you're going to see a nice story from Dragon Ball, whichever one, Dragon Ball Z, GT,
whatever.
any of them, if you thought you're going to see a coherent, like, God bless you. 2, it was just like the casual fan who's just going there to see an action movie left out of there mad too. So I don't think nobody left the theater after watching that movie thinking this was pretty good.
Yeah,
this is pretty
you know
good.
what I wish they would have done that they probably might have been able to do is a live action of the past, but about Gohan. I don't know of any story that's been made, not Gohan his son, like his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So like I haven't seen
like an Origins kind of deal.
Yeah, like you could do that, because maybe they would have, like, this is what my problem with live actions, like you saw something and you're like, this is so cool, let's completely change it and make it relatable, and not a single person like gave a fuck about that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no. But if you want to talk about Ki and all this stuff and how maybe it was developed before it got there, maybe you could have done that better with doing an origin story of Gohan, and maybe you could have named it Gohan. Maybe that would have gotten better, because then you probably, I don't know where they would have gone with that. I haven't read a lot of like the origin stories. I'm sure they're out there. I haven't done a lot of research on that. Maybe that's what they could have done, but instead they just wanted to create a high school Degrassi fucking thing with power. So
well, it was Smallville was a thing, like taking very established superheroes and things like that and putting them in teenage situations. They're just like, man, it's working for Smallville, it's working for this.
Well, they look at it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, because I think back then that was a lot of shows. Back then was a lot of like teenagers
you had
with powers.
You had your Smallville shows, your Vampire Diaries. What'd they do, that one where it's like a Jughead in them? It was like a
Riverdale.
Yeah, and it's like a teen mystery. But all those, I mean,
Teen
Hollywood knows your big ticket purchase, especially for summer releases and stuff, are the kids that are out of school. Okay, the littlest kids get caught by the animated studios from Disney and Universal and stuff. Okay, they got the market on that. But if Fox tries to jump in, Fox is going to try to jump in with something that's young adult. Okay, but the thing is like they could have still went that route. Look at the movies. Okay, Mortal Kombat's not great, but it's a fighting movie where they use special effects to convey power, or some of their powers. Okay, they didn't even get to that level on here. And Mortal Kombat's probably like, a 4 out of 10, like compared to the game. But I mean, you were still like, hey, at least Sub-Zero threw his stuff, and we got to see some of the cool stuff. We didn't even get that. We didn't even get a taste of Goku or Piccolo, they couldn't even make Piccolo dress like Piccolo. I mean, he already looks like the Mask, man, and then you're gonna make him like wear some biker outfit,
and then he has some henchman woman that's like,
I'm like,
I didn't understand her role at all. She just
Just-
showed up out of nowhere. It was
Just
so
to be an
confusing.
extra person to fight is all it was.
Yeah.
It,
So the girl had
overall-
someone to fight. It's like
overall, rotten trash, rotten at the bottom. When you get down there, it was so terrible. And I did look up some more that apparently the director, like to this day, is so ashamed.
Who
Of-
directed this one?
His name is James Wong, and it was produced by Stephen Chow and written by Ben Ramsey.
Ben Ramsey needs to be found and beaten. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But
I meant to do some research on James Chow to see like what else he directed.
well, I mean, I can be mad at James Chow, but Ben Ramsey wrote this,
Oh,
so
this makes a lot of sense. He also directed Fantastic Four, the original one. So
The OG ones?
so cheap one.
Oh.
So
yeah.
all these other ones I'm not tracking. I did see Tron when I was a kid, so I'd have to watch it again. It's when Tron
Did he
first
do the
came
new
out.
one or the old one?
It's all the old ones, so it's like not because the new Fantastic Four I thought was really good. The old Fantastic
No, but I mean there
he
was
like-
a 2006 or 2009
Tron
Fantastic Four?
Legacy.
Tron Legacy. Okay, so that's a newer one because the 70s one
Okay.
people still love that, but the
Yes.
Tron Legacy wasn't terrible, but it dropped the ball. But I mean, I want to know, did he do the Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan?
He did.
2005. 2005.
Yeah, so the Michael
Fantastic
B.
Four.
Jordan one,
Yeah, the
right?
one where they hired what's her face?
Jessica Alba.
Yeah,
Oh,
and all they
okay.
did is paid
Yeah.
her. They literally told her like just stand there and look hot. That's why she only had like 5 lines in the whole movie.
Yeah, he didn't do the Fantastic one.
Yeah, that was woo. But not
No.
that the other one was any better, but I was just like,
I mean, it was better than this, and that because they tried to redo the whole fucking origin story of they tried to make
again, yeah.
know,
I
it's
mean,
like
that's the
top
thing,
line.
man. Oh,
All right,
So sucks, terrible, awful. If you want to watch it just for some laughs, or you just want to be angry one day, and just,
it's on YouTube. You can literally YouTube.
Yep, go ahead and do it. Don't
if you want
recommend
to see
it.
Chow Yun Fat's worst movie, here it is. I mean,
And
that's
that's-
pretty bad because
that's
he was in
great.
Bulletproof Monk.
I was about to say that
If you were in Bulletproof Monk and this is worse,
with
That's
Sean William Scott, bro.
yeah,
Like, it's-
this actually, he did Bulletproof Monk probably to earn points back over this. That's how bad this one was. Because I mean, whoo.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if I said what the the budget was $30 million and all they made was 57. So this is one of the ones where I was saying like
Right.
all they made. So they got $57.5 million for box office. So that's like 3, 4, 5, $27.5 million.
Nope. And all that probably went into marketing too. So they probably
Yeah,
got to figure.
the world production,
Yeah.
the global, yeah. How much of that 30 million was just Chow Yun Fat's salary? Is what we want to know.
Right?
Because
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I didn't look that up, but
it's you were mentioning it before. I mean, Jackie's right. The CGI is so important in these, and if you throw anyone in there that's going to be making, let's say, 5 million for the movie, you just seriously chopped your budget down, and then
That's
then they're going to be throwing.
budget.
Then you're going to end up with like the last Airbender movie by M. Night Shyamalan, where
oh my
You know,
gosh.
they have like bamboo buildings and they're falling apart while they're fighting. You're like, this is awful.
They didn't
The
get
budget was
smart
just
stuff.
gone, dude. It was terrible. They're like throwing rocks out their hand, like, ha.
Yeah, we're not talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender for this one, but we have lots of thoughts.
Yeah. All right, EJ. What's one of the live adaptations that gets under your skin?
Okay, this one really, really got under my skin in more ways than one, and I'm going to explain. Okay, Death Note. One
Ooh.
of probably the most recognized and most I mean, it's a staple for anime fans. Okay, Death Note, the anime. All right, mainly 2 seasons was done to where it was practically a perfect story within 2 seasons, which is rare for most animes that our series to complete in 2 seasons and be that well done that nobody in the end was like, oh, they should have touched on it. There's nothing left to grasp at. Everyone felt that the end was done well and the entire story kept you glued. Even though we can all say the first 20 episodes are the best, the entire story, though, did give you a climax and a conclusion that you were like, okay, overall, I thought the story was great. I mean, you ask most fans, they're going to give it pretty good scores. So it made sense. Netflix was going to grab it. 2016, they came up with the idea. And in 2017, they released Death Note on Netflix. All right, it starred Nat Wolff, who's kind of an upcoming actor. And he's been in a decent amount of stuff. But at the time, he was less known. They changed some of the names and so forth, which we'll get to. But he plays Light Turner, who's primarily the main character. The villain and the main character at the same time. And Lakeith Stanfield's in it as L. Lakeith Stanfield's a great actor. We've all seen that as his career has progressed. I personally think he's, one of the best in his age group at this time. But this movie was not it. It's like giving a great actor, like someone you really enjoy, like let's say Tom Hanks, and you give him the role of, you put him in Dude, Where's My Car? Okay. It's like, that's exactly what happened with this. Okay. And, so there's a Margaret, Qualley, I guess is the way to spell her. She was playing Mia, and the best part of the whole movie, in my opinion, is Willem Dafoe plays Ryuk's voice, or does the voice of Ryuk, which is great. I mean, we all could say Willem Dafoe is one of those, irreplaceable, one of a kind actors.
I did hear that he might have been only the best part.
Oh, he is
100%.
Absolutely. I mean, his voice and his characterization,
the Green Goblin kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he can bring life to his words to the point where you feel the maniacal energy, even just through him talking. So, I mean, Willem Dafoe's, he's one of the greats we have. And they did a good job with Ryuk as far as putting him on screen the best way they did. Other than that, Ryuk was one of the failing points of this movie. And I'm going to read off what I feel is the most failures of it. But
okay.
Rating, Netflix, IMDb rated a 4.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 36 out of 100. Letterboxd gave it 1.5 out of 5. So all across the board, nobody has ever given this, much appreciation. And that's because the source material is there. It's so easily accessible. And that's one of my points, one of my main points. If you're going to be the company that's releasing this, and you're the streaming network carrying the anime, because they had the anime. They had the 2 seasons of Death Note, and they released this. So obviously, if you have the source material and you're going to release a movie based on that, you might want to make sure that it's at least close to what you already have on your streaming platform. Because if people are watching it going, oh man, they're going to release the movie, I'm going to watch the series. So someone takes the time, watches the 2 seasons of the series and goes, I love it. Movie comes out, and then you just made them pull their subscription to your streaming network, because this was not the movie at all. Okay, so that's point number 1. That's a huge mistake. Number 2, the lack of building on Light Yagami, or Light Turner in this. When you watch the anime, they take the time for you to explore the depths of Light, how incredibly intelligent he is, and his descent into this godlike complex. Okay. That's the whole pillar to which this story is founded on. Okay. Is that moral battle, and is it correct? Is it right? Is it wrong? All that though hinges on the fact that you buy into Light being this super genius with a thirst for bringing justice, for changing the world. They don't sell that to you at all. Okay. They give you a Light that you feel is kind of just weird. And I'll get to that. Light never displays his cunning or masterfulness for being elusive, like evading all the authorities. I mean, in the anime, there's 2 or 3 episodes where it's just Light using his mind to manipulate the evidence and stuff that they're going to find, leading them completely away from himself multiple times. Okay, so it's showing that Light by himself, with the book and his understanding of that, is able to take the entire special task force of this police department and throw them in all these different directions at a whim. So, I mean, you get the level of his intelligence, which is so important when you're going to introduce L, because L is this child prodigy across the world who's respected as an investigator. If you're going to bring him in, you have to establish that the guy he's going after is just as intelligent. Okay. And that brings me to the next thing they failed is part of what made the series so great is the interaction between Elle and Light. Okay. Their battle of wits and their cold, no words moments when they're spent together where you know, and you feel like Elle knows, and you also know Light's going to do everything he can to throw Elle off. And then no words are said between them. And you're still glued to that set. You're glued to that scene. You're like, oh my God, they're right next to each other. And Light's like, we've got to catch Kira. And Elle's over there and you hear Elle's mind. He's like, I know he's Kira. And you're just like, oh my God, there's so much. They didn't put that out there at all. You got none of that. So all that tension and suspense that carries the series was not in this movie. And that's why I feel like Stanfield was wasted, because he could have so brought that in there. Like Elle's deep monologues were in his neuroses, but at the same time that you're like, wow, he's so weird, but at the same time he's so brilliant, and he could play that role, but they never gave that opportunity, and that was one of my other points, that they made a mistake. Instead of showing either of them as these calculating geniuses, they made them seem more like these strange neurotic kids that nobody likes at school.
The ones that hiss at you and
like the weird kid who's drawing disturbing pictures in his notebook. I'm like, that's not what they were like at all. I mean,
no.
Light's supposed to be this like valedictorian that everybody in school like, oh man, he's so smart, oh he's so great, he's popular, but not in the sense like the cool captain of football team. He's popular as in everyone's like, man, he's so smart, he's good looking, he gets along with everyone, he has such a great personality. People loved Light, but they made Light seem like a weird nerd, and I'm like, what? So once again, you're shooting down your fan base. Another point, the police felt like they all supported Kira in the movie. And in the series, it's very important to see that the police lay down every time that moral question comes up is what Light is doing wrong. The police is there to kind of center you again. Like, yes, punishing the people who commit these atrocities is important, but it's not up to us to take their life.
Right.
And they're there to be that compass, to remind you while you're watching the series. Light's dad, the police, they're all like, yeah, these are terrible people, but we don't deserve to just kill them. And that's reminded to you constantly. They don't have that here. The only person who speaks out is Light's dad, who's like, we got to stop Kira. The rest of the police are like, I like what he's doing, man. I'm going to throw my badge in and quit my job. I'm going to let Light kill everybody, or Kira kill everybody.
So
like,
stupid.
What? It was it robbed more facets of the story. I feel like they added gore that was unnecessary. I think to try to add shock value and action when it's not a series that was driven by that. It was driven by story and dialogue and suspense. Ryuk's observations were totally cut. You didn't really get to sit back and listen to Ryuk talk, or Ryuk kind of having a conversation with Light where Ryuk's foreshadowing the end. Ryuk knows way before how this all. He actually tells him in the series, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get to a point where you're going to get screwed up, but in the end, I'm going to get your soul. In the end, it always happens. Every mortal that has ever come into this situation, their soul is belongs to us in the end. So, but you don't get that. Ryuk's more of a visual eye candy that pops up occasionally, and we get some cool dialogue with Defoe, but it's not along the same lines where you see the near omnipotence of Ryuk. Ryuk kind of just relishing in the turmoils amongst humans. That's what he's there for. He enjoys watching that conflict. We don't get that. I mean, like I said, they did a good job putting him out there. I mean, this show is a little dated, but it survived pretty well seeing some of the other stuff we've seen. I mean, Ryuk was brought to life very well, but it wasn't enough to save the movie. So in the end, I feel like the other thing that they threw in there, and this kind of goes with what Jackie was talking about, is Dragon Ball. They made Light's relationship with Mia more than it had to was. They tried to make it this romance. They tried to make it this bond where, if you've watched the series, Light has no interest in Mia in that way. He only uses Mia. Yeah. He has no emotions attached to her.
Right.
But he uses her attachment to him, but it's not an equally felt thing. So they kind of played on that romance thing again because they're trying to get young adult drawn in, the love between, the ill-fated love story. And I'm like, there is no ill-fated love story in this entire thing. So anyone who's seen this, and then gone back and just stared at Netflix like, hey, you have the 2 seasons. Why do you have this garbage you spent however many millions on right next to it? But, that's where we are. That's what we were given. I've heard that the Japanese version is better. I could never bring myself to watch it yet because I'm still suffering from the trauma of the Netflix.
EJ, I was actually just about to bring that up because I did some research on the Japanese one. And
I'd like to hear it.
We talked about all the really shitty reviews of the Netflix one, but the Japanese one had like a 78%
That's what I've seen. I've seen that everybody says it's much better.
Yeah, it was so good that it got that sequel. So it's like 2 running movies. I don't.
Yeah.
Willie's giving a face. I haven't seen it. So I cannot.
It's like
I have no idea.
Japanese audiences probably liked it, but just like they made 3 Attack on Titan live action movies. And that's
I agree. I haven't seen it, but they apparently the Japanese one's way better. I have no idea. It's just what I'm reading.
Yeah.
But I will say that some comments from some people about the Netflix film, which I thought was really funny, is someone said like one of the worst movies I've ever seen, a bad Final Destination movie, and someone saying like it was so entertaining in a so bad it's good way. So. Oh God, there you go.
Oh no, tell me it ain't true. Hey, everybody's got different tastes. But my question to Calvin is, did you watch the
anime? Yeah.
Did you watch the 2 seasons? Because that's an important part. Like if you loved the movie, I can give it to you, if it's you as a standalone, you didn't watch the series, so the movie is new. Right. All the ideas were new. Yeah. But if you've seen the series, I don't know I can't help you, Calvin. I mean,
there's a lot of people too. I was researching that like they've had friends that watched the live action. They're like, yeah, it's really cool. But then they went back and watched the anime and they're like, what the fuck is this? And they were like, so.
And it's like Willie said, you get someone who's passionate about it and give them a lot of the controls and play and you'll probably end up with a much better end result. Like, I mean, always comes to mind for me is Deadpool. Okay. You had Ryan Reynolds who'd been fighting for 10 years to make this movie, going studio to studio on his own, asking with the scripts that him and his, his friends and fans of the scene have put together. And he fought and he fought and he kept getting turned down. But it showed in the end result, someone who loved the material, even if they don't know it all. Just the passion for the material that they do know, they presented it to us all to try to share what they like. When you see an industry plant, as I like to look at it, the industry plant people, this is one of those results where all they did was see the money signs. They have no passion for the subject matter, nothing, and they just turn it out. It's a shame because some of the actors were great.
Yeah, what's interesting is, did you guys like the Godzilla vs. Kong movies?
They're okay. My kids love them.
Well, the same director that did the Netflix adaptation is the same dude that did the Godzilla vs. Kong.
I would assume his budget was bigger for the Godzilla movies than it was for this.
But he did.
So that's what I mean. But it's interesting when you put these directors in and they get this.
You're trying to get this director to however long this movie is. What, like an hour and minutes?
Yeah, hour and
an hour and a half to try to do this whole Death Note story, right? And granted, they take some liberation, some liberties, and tell this weird version of the story, Light versus L, and Ryuk and all that stuff, and they wrap it up, and people who are new to the product are just like, oh, that's a very original thing. I like that,
Yeah.
God forbid they go read the fucking manga or watch the animes, like outside of Smitty, Smitty has his taste, He said he tried to go back and watch the anime after the movie, and it puts him to sleep. And it's probably because the movie compacted so much stuff in 90 minutes, and then you're watching the fully fleshed out story of the anime, and you're just like, I wish this would just hurry up. So I can see his point on that. but it's just you just can't put a director, put handcuffs on him and be like, here's fucking 114 chapters of a fucking story. We need you to make this like in
2 hours.
90
Yeah. At
Mhm.
most. Like,
You get 90
I
minutes.
mean-
Budget ain't we ain't got the film to roll it out. This ain't the Snyder cut. You know what I'm
and
saying?
I mean, you see some of the similarities, though. You brought up that he did the Godzilla movies. Now, when the Godzilla v Kong movies from, I think it's or Godzilla v Kong, and then there's the new Empire one or Kong. What? Anyway, look at the parts with the human characters that take acting and dialogue, and you'll be like, I'm glad my kids like this movie, but the acting
dialogue
is awful. It's like the dialogue is awful, and just
Well, yeah, when it's aimed at kids, they don't give a shit.
They don't care.
know. They don't
I'm
know.
not saying that the classic Godzilla movies, they're the people in that too, the Japanese ones, those stories suck, man. Because nobody came to watch people.
No, you
I'm
know,
there to see giant kaiju kick each other's ass. But then, with the recent ones, they kind of throw star power in. Once again, it's a Hollywood industry situation. They're like, we'll put some faces on that people like the guy. Hey, who's the guy that played Beauty and the Beast character? That guy. We'll get this lady. People know them. We got to put a comic guy in there. Got to put someone funny in. He's going to make comments the whole time. They went with the standard mold of everything they ever turn out. And then when they apply it to these anime movies, that's why it feels so fake, because they don't take it to flesh it out for what the original story was. They take it and they try to force it into this mold of got to have a love interest. We got to have a deep scene where they share something personal between themselves. We got to have comic relief guy. All the things Hollywood puts in every movie. There's going to be a chase scene. We've always got to have a chase scene. Like, really?
Gotta have a hot girl.
Gotta have a hot girl. If there's a boob or a nip that slips, that'd be great. Can we throw that in there? What if Godzilla breathes fire and then the woman standing there, her nip pops out of her shirt? What do you think? Like, what does it have to do with the movie? That's what we get. That's what we get. So that's my review of Death Note. If you liked it, like Calvin, I'm glad that somebody did, because they spent millions of dollars for you to like that, Calvin. Everyone else who didn't like it, I'm sorry. I feel bad too. Well, but maybe the Japanese version might make you feel a little better. Willie says it's not, gonna really save you, but there's always therapy. Just check your health insurance. All right. So what do you got for us, Willie?
So riding, I think, the heels of the Death Note, because Death Note, I think, was 2016. 2018, Netflix is like, let's roll the dice on Bleach, right? Notice how I feel about Bleach. Bleach was my gateway into like legit anime. The first legit anime I was watching besides Dragon Ball, the first one I watched with the subtitles. So watching that from start to finish, including the ridiculous amounts of filler episodes, I'm just like, this is my shit. Bleach is like my baby. So Netflix is like, abracadabra, here we go, Bleach the movie. I'm already mad at what they did to Death Note, so I'm super upset about Bleach. But because Ichigo is my guy, I try to watch it. I didn't finish it. I tried to watch it. It is the most disrespectful thing I have seen. And again, it's one of those where it's like, in Japan, it made money, and we'll get to. I want to hit on something about that later, but overall box office in Japan, it made $4,492,000, right? Woo, right? Compared to now, Demon Slayer's over there fucking pimp slapping all their old box office.
Yeah, for real.
Let's talk about that.
Put a pin in that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the one thing I will give this props on is when they did the dub version, they went and got the voice actors, several of the voice actors from the English dub version of the anime to dub the movie as well. So they got Johnny Young Bosch. They went and got Stephanie Say, who voices Orihime. They went and got Derek Stephen Prince, who does Uryu. And they also got well, Kaji Tang, the guy who voices Chad in the movie, doesn't voice him in the anime. However, he does voice Gojo and JJK, which now he's like the man now. So he was very lesser known. Now he's voicing, you know, the
For the dub, yeah.
girl. And then they're just like, ooh, this is my guy, right? But they did a lot of, hey, we'll get the English actors that voice them in the anime and they'll voice the movie, which does kind of help when you're watching it. You're just like, well, it's not too far off. But I will say the biggest thing is, again, trying to compile so much of the story into, what did they give this? They gave this an hour and 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, 140.
An hour and 40 minutes to try to go through not even the full arc. This movie ends with oh my god, I fucking Ichigo. Jesus Christ. I was about to call him Kurosaki.
Yeah, that guy, the main character.
Kurosaki. I'm just like where Kurosaki was, but Ichigo is fighting the Kingfisher hollow,
Yeah.
which happens way early in the first
Yeah,
season.
it doesn't even make it out of the first
It ended with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the battle. So while they're fighting, Jackie, listen, while they're fighting him, you know, Byakuya and Renji come in and they interfere with the fight because they're trying to bring Rukia back. The story is so jacked up, and that's the part I'm mad. I'm just like, how did this movie make money in Japan? When in Japan, one of your OG out of their mouths, the big three, one of the big three, manga, anime. This is the live action adaptation, and this is the story they mangle together, and then, you know, they put it in theaters, and you're like, oh, here's $4 million. We'll fuck with it. How? And this is what I was telling you. Like, it did so good in Japan, it made sequels. Like, bro, this, like, they just go watch movies, I guess. I don't know what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
They also buy, like, you know, used panties out of vending machines over there. So it is what it is, you know. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to yuck anybody's kink, but you know, it is what it is. However, watching that movie, it's hard for somebody who's a fan to really get behind something like that. When you love something like that, and I know like we're kind of pressing on time, we're running into an hour, but like Jackie, I think you would agree when you're looking at a very beloved anime that a lot of people enjoy and rank pretty high, and then now, you know, like Full Metal Alchemist, right? Did you watch that one or no? Or you just watch trailers of that? And
I watched some clips.
Reviews.
I was going to watch it just to do it, but I couldn't.
Right. But the clips that you saw of it, right? You're just like, what are we doing here?
Everyone decided to come together that love cosplaying to create a movie.
Yeah, I saw those people down at the Holiday Inn for you know, cosplay convention.
Yeah,
there.
those dudes are always on the strip in Fremont.
Yeah.
So.
just painted up some cardboard armor.
Or go to LA, you know, right there where all the stars are. That's where those people sit.
And I think the real big disappointment is when Tite Kubo created Bleach. He was like, he wants to make this thing so outlandish that it is impossible to do a live action adaptation, right?
He's right.
And Netflix comes with the money, and he's just like, okay, but I have to be involved in the process. And the most important thing, he was like, he wanted to be involved in the process was, and again, like, Tite's my dude. Keep 1,000 Year Blood War coming, all of that stuff. However, he was like, I just want to make sure that the hair color for Ichigo is bright orange. Like, it has to be the vibrant bright orange. Yep. And I'm just like, okay, that's it. Like,
that's his sticking point.
You sat back and watched them do this to your story and kept it pushing. And then you disappeared for how long before coming back to give us?
He did.
Well, you know, it could have been that he was counting the money when they were. So he totally missed that part. He's like, yep, I like.
Or he was embarrassed. He's like, oh, I gotta go chill out.
And then once he's
on this,
yeah.
But
like, I'm gonna go spend this money for the next 6 years. I'll see you.
I'm so glad he came back, and I'm so glad 1,000 Year Blood War is going. But like, for that to be like what seemed to be the swan song, like, I'm out of here, like my life. And my biggest thing was like, there's no way he's tied to this. And then I looked it up after, and I'm just like, oh my god, he was involved in the making.
Did they? If they bought the property, then maybe they just put a chair up there that said, what do they call them? Executive producers. Here you go. You can sit here, but we own your. I mean, it happens a lot.
It says when it was announced, Kubo decided to be involved with its production to ensure faithfulness to the manga and anime, so that both new and old fans would enjoy it. Cap, as the youth. Cap.
Yeah. On God. No lie.
Like we're gonna have to call you on that one, buddy.
It's just me. Maybe there's more people who think the way I do, but IMDb, this is a 6.3 out of 10, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 55% of Google users who watched it said they like it. So it's like a coin flip, a little bit higher than that people are just like, this isn't bad. But to those people, I ask this question: have you seen the anime? That's all I ask. Yes. Because if you just watch it for a spectacle, like, oh, this shit is weird, this is nuanced, this is, you're probably like, oh, this is pretty original, got these people, Soul Reapers, fighting these things, and it's a whole thing. So this is pretty dope. But if you are a fan, and I don't want to be those people, Game of Thrones is out, people who read the book, they're just like, oh, the book is way, like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the anime is way better.
Well, yeah, of course books are,
but sometimes it's the truth.
Yeah.
You can't compile all of this stuff.
Nope.
I think Netflix was just striking out with these live action movies so much. That's why when it came to trying to do new stuff like a Cowboy Bebop, like an Avatar, like a YuYu Hakusho, like a One Piece, they're just like, let's not try to cram all of this stuff in 90 minutes. Let's let it breathe. Give it like 8 or 9 episodes at about an hour. Yeah. So now you get like 8 or 9 hours to try to do a full arc or whatever of whatever story you're trying to tell. But yeah, man, Bleach was just not it for me. Shout out to them for trying to do the leg work. I'm pretty sure Tight had a say in trying to bring the English voice actors over to kind of do the dub to keep fans of the anime into it. But when you're watching and looking at the story, you're just like, I know what should happen next. That's not what happened next. That's not what happened next.
I feel like they tried too with the hollows, like it's trying to convey it like more of the old school special effects, but it just
they were trying to be
like classic with
heavy it. on the GCI or GCI
CGI, but yeah,
GCI.
GCI. Nobody wants to be heavy on GCI. Okay,
that's so funny.
You're looking at this, right? And like,
are you getting a picture? Because I was looking up.
No. Like it's so bad. Like how they try to end the story. Like they leave, and as they're leaving, Rukia jumps in because Byakuya is about to fight Ichigo and to save him. She extracts her the what is it, Ryuko?
Yeah.
And parting ways, like, so I'm out, and then she goes back to Soul Society, and everybody in Soul Society is so like distraught, like whatever happens, they lose their memory, and they're like, oh, the damage that was done to our town was from a volcano, not from a battle we had or a tornado. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And then like everybody in the real world is like doesn't remember anything either. And then Ichigo finds a note from Rukia, and then his memories start coming back, and then credits.
Yeah.
And then people are just like, oh, is there going to be a part 2? Like, shut up. Stop. Like, quit.
There should definitely not be.
Stop. Is a Bleach 2 coming out?
That's all they need, though. That's all Netflix needs.
Stop it. Get some help.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So that's all I'm saying. It's the biggest thing. I think the biggest gripe for me is they keep trying to do so much storytelling in so little time. They just they just throw the whole arc in a fucking blender, blend it, pour it out, and however the story lines up on a page, you're like, roll it.
Yeah,
it fits the time thing. And people who don't know, they'll love it, and people who know, they'll still watch it just because they're curious, and then they won't come back to it. It's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the nerds, me included, will just go to watch it because you're hoping to see one of your favorite stories or characters pop up on the screen, and that alone is the nostalgia of it is worth it until you're like, this. Then the story gets on your nerves, and you try to explain it to other people who haven't seen it or whatever, or aren't fans.
The budget for this movie was $3.6 million.
That's it.
You know how much it made? It grossed around 3.7 million worldwide.
Oh my god.
The math ain't math.
No,
The math ain't mathing, bro. And is Bleach 2 coming out, bro?
no, Bleach 2 definitely not coming out.
Netflix has been known to cut shows off that make profit.
Yeah, dude. Like, come on. Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, did Netflix really have to spend much money? Because this was made by a Japanese studio, right?
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
But
I don't know how much they paid for it because I think they
they bought
collaborated.
it, but I mean, yeah,
bought
they
it,
didn't.
like, to stream it. But I'm like, they probably made. I don't know what the streaming numbers were, right? I
Yeah.
don't know how much they made per stream. But like,
Maybe that's where they're getting their money is off the
the
streaming
film
numbers.
studio in Japan, I'm pretty sure they're like, yeah, we're not doing this shit again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
I bet you
that
that's
studio
not
sells
even-
ramen now. That's what they do. They're just like, we're a ramen shop. We just make ramen now because we can get a pack for 50 cents and we can just. That's the only way we'll recoup.
And
this
then
damage.
and on all the TVs that they have is just that Bleach movie just on repeat.
Yeah,
We
There
gotta
you
get
go.
the streaming numbers up. We gotta pump up the numbers.
it's just playing on a loop. Eat your ramen. Watch the movie.
Do you guys got any other movies that are just begging to
I'll
get
just-
listed? Or
I'll really quick, just like
Uh-huh.
overarching. I'll talk about Yu Yu Hakusho only because, like I always say, that's one of my most favorites.
that's your baby, ain't it?
It is my baby. So when they did decide to like come out with live action, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of excited because I'm like, okay, that one shouldn't be that hard.
And it came out. They announced it after the One Piece. So
Yeah, no, it was before. So it came out in
I
2000.
thought this was after.
Maybe I have my numbers wrong. I have 2023 for Yu Yu Hakusho, and I have what's the date?
Yeah, when the 20.
Yeah, because One Piece came out earlier in 23,
One Piece came out
in the fall of 23, I think.
So it came out in 2023 of December. Okay, so yeah, you're right. My bad.
So I was excited because I saw like Netflix looked like they had it together.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
So the problem with Yu Yu Hakusho is you're doing the same thing. Like you're trying to condense everything, especially with one of the biggest dudes that's like the main villain in the shows, which is Toguro. Like you're trying to get to that point. And I don't think they needed to do that. They could have stopped and they could have made a second one. Because the one thing that was, and I will say that now we're on a little bit of a positive note with Yu Yu Hakusho, like the choreography for the fight scenes was sick. It was actually
Your
really
look
good.
was
I
really
watched
good too.
I watched so many clips of it. I was like, yeah, this is actually really good. And I watched like big fight scenes. I just want to show the cartoon version. Okay, this is the anime version. Sorry.
Oh yeah, he was a
Toguro. Jacked, right? And this wasn't even his final form. Dude is
problem. A
amazing.
unit.
Can we just talk about the live action?
Whoa.
This man's a morphed ball sack. Okay.
So they use
Let's
CGI
go back.
on everything but his
Let's
face.
go back
Like,
to this.
we ran out of money. We got to use your face.
Now let's go.
Wow.
Back to
Put sunglasses on him. Do something because it's just, that did,
Gel his hair up. Make it spiky.
Yeah.
You know,
Now,
make him
this-
look like a villain.
this fight was okay. I was actually very mad about it because
can he move?
Dude, he was moving. He was moving.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie, he was moving. Okay, somehow,
He looks like roots from a tree.
bro.
Yeah,
It's like when you got a crick in your neck and you're like,
Yeah.
it can't move.
He's like when he slept wrong and you're just like,
This fight that I was pissed off about is at one point they had Hiei, the actor, like grab his leg at the bottom. I was like, what are we doing? He's not a child trying to like, if you're ever a kid that you're like, Dad, I'm gonna hold on to your leg and you pick me up and walk around with me holding your leg. Like that's not what Hiei does. So why are we doing that? It's So there's different scenes in it where I thought was great, but at the same time, like it's the pacing again, like just very rushed, not enough emphasis. Like Genkai is a huge, like, she's a very important character for like everything in this show, especially for why Yusuke became the way that he did eventually and like how strong he became. That's his teacher. And she was like basically like introduced and then tossed to the side like she was nothing, which is not at all. And then she's mentioned in that fight at the end where he's like, how much power did she give you? And then all of a sudden, this dude, as he's fighting, he's got like everything is like lighting up on his fist, his knee, his foot. I was like, what are we doing? So just some things that I'm just like, this is really weird. But it did get good, decent reviews though. Like the visual I did thought that what I did think was interesting for the visual effects is I think I wrote it down here. It's the same dude. Oh, I'm on a different. It's the same dude that also collaborated, I think, with Titanic, which I was like, oh, interesting, but different types of effects. So I guess. But the only thing that I will say is about this is like I didn't think they did a good bad with some of the casting. How they dressed up Hiei and what they did was annoying. Everyone else, like I thought they did a pretty decent job with who they chose. But it overall, like, yeah, if you want to watch, this whole thing is just like it's not bad. Like he doesn't do that in the show. Like he kind of does something like this is what I'm talking about. Like everything's lit up, and I'm like, that doesn't. And then at what
The
point
Last
his knee?
Dragon.
His knee. Why is his knee lighting up? What's
got the
coming
glow,
out of his
man.
knee?
He got the
His
glow.
cartilage is coming out of his knee. That's what's fucking happening.
Bruce Leroy.
Bro.
He's-
But the choreography for everything, like there's a fight with him and I forget the dude's name. It's way in the beginning of the anime, but it's the first dude that he really because there's three of them. It's Hiei Kurama and I forget his name starts with the B. But they're like trying to collect the artifacts and he transforms into this giant like ogre red looking dude and there's a whole fight with them in this like junkyard with vehicles. And it actually
I
really
think I remember
really
that.
well choreographed. Really,
They
really
did.
great. But that's the biggest thing people talk about is like choreography, fight scenes, absolutely great, which I think you could do really well with this because it's a lot of what this show is fighting. But then again, pacing, like I would have loved if they just didn't get to Toguro, if they just like stopped at like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good part. Like maybe when the insects started coming into the town right before they were going to have to go to the other world to deal with like the tournament arc and then you could have had a whole movie in the like there's like a whole thing they could have done again they're just rushing when they didn't
the tournament
need
arc
to.
should have been its own season or
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's what I was thinking was going to happen too. Like, man, when they break down this tournament arc, like it's about to be. But nope, I'm sitting there watching these episodes. Like, man, they are skipping some shit.
Yeah, I think they did Hiei pretty dirty. He's one of my most favorite characters in that show. They should have just done where they went to the tower. That would have been sick. They could have ended it, or even then before the tower. Like they really could have like done it.
Yeah, I think before the tower, if they could have just shown you that, hey, this is a possible forward play, they probably could have got a follow up. You know,
Smitty, like that's the smartest thing you said this whole night. Like. I'm just kidding, bro. But seriously, no, I agree. But I did want to watch it because because it's so long. It's in the 90s that this anime came out. I wouldn't have minded watching live action to see what you would do with that. But there's just some things they didn't do well. This one was like I think overall, what people did it got an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, got a 70 out of 100 on Metacritic. Again, people said they loved the performance and action, but it's just the pacing and some of the character depth that was lacking.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jackie. It's and the wild part is we're sitting here talking and like we're not showrunners or anything, but like the ideas we're throwing out there is like, hey, just stop it right here, and then give yourself some time. Season 2, whatever, if it does well, you could drop it here. I think. In their minds, they were trying to look for the biggest bad or something.
Yeah.
The hype is part of it. So it would generate that viewing and that following and stuff. So they could get the thumbs up.
But who are you targeting at this point when you're doing live actions? You can't be targeting the anime watchers because we know what we like. You're trying to target the people that probably don't watch the anime to get them to eventually watch the anime. So you don't have to do that.
If you were somebody new to Yu Yu Hakusho and they ended it, say when the insects were like, coming through, and you would have been interested, like, hey, this is pretty good. I think I'll tune in to the next one.
If they would have focused more on characters,
like Hollywood, and you're just like, we need to end this season with like a big ass fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's okay to end things on a cliffhanger.
It is.
Marvel does it all the time.
And that's how Marvel got 10 years of continuity out of it. Is
There's
to
a
just
lot
give you
there's a
little
lot of
bits
movies
at
and
the
shows
end.
that
Like
do it.
even just they mastered the end credit scene.
but
Here's the
like
end credit scene that'll just hook
Marvel
you
would
for the
do
next
the cliffhanger, like after they knock out the big bad, then they find out there's another big bad on the way, and that'll be their cliffhanger. Yu Yu Hakusho is they didn't know how to do that shit. Like they were trying to find, it worked for One Piece because what did they end season 1 at? Arlong Park?
Yes.
So
well, kind of, yeah.
So I mean that because that was Luffy's, I think, to me, like the first real test, like his like, fuck, this dude's gonna fuck me up, So ending it after that fight, cool, and then you're gonna just roll into the next arc or whatever. So that made sense. Watching that one, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. That's why I was, so that's why I was going into Yu Yu Hakusho a little bit more. Netflix has it down, right? They have it down pat, and they don't.
There's 4 arcs in Yu Yu Hakusho. There's the Spirit Detective arc, the Dark Tournament arc, the Chapter Black arc, and the Three Kings arc. There's 112 episodes total. You could easily, if you do a show, even a movie, you can take those 20 episodes because there's some like filler stuff too, like in the show. You could theoretically, you really could condense that and focus on the Spirit Detective arc only. And that big battle is the tower. And then it's them going back before you get to they entered Toguro way too early. Toguro doesn't even become a factor until the Dark Tournament arc. They were trying to introduce 2 big arcs into one, and like even Toguro is like, I think a part of the Chapter Black arc. Like, what are we doing? You're like doing the big thing in like, gotta
reel them in, Jack. You gotta, hey, look at the effects, look at the fights, look at
they're not looking at the long game.
And funny, you didn't have to spend that much money then.
I think that's part of their failure is they don't look at the long
Put me
game.
on. Put me on the
They
team.
only look at right now. I can do this 9 or 10 episodes, and we're done. But we've got enough people to, watch that. They don't look at the long game where Jackie's describing, like, hey, you could do all 4 different arcs and just make the end lead into the next one and do another season. They're not looking at that. They're looking at this, the contract, the money I got right now. I can spend this much, and I'm looking to make this much, and then that's it. They just go forward, I don't think they have a plan. I don't even think they probably finished all of Yu Yu Hakusho, the actual anime. They probably didn't even watch. They probably watched parts of it or just read a Wikipedia page on it, or I don't know.
But that's my big thing. Like, that was more positive, but a little bit more like where I was like, I have others, but that was my big one. Then I was like, come on, man.
Oh man. But like we promised, we're gonna try in on a good note. We talked about some of the worst ones to us that we felt were just a disgrace to the film that they were recorded on.
Sorry, Willie, do you want to show this? Because we didn't talk about it.
For good reason. For you, those that don't know, that is a Titan that they used for.
We're not even going to talk about it. Just that's all you got to know.
Live action. It is a terrible, terrible movie. Like they,
like that's what you send your best friends on Snapchat when you're drunk as fuck. Like that is like, like what are we doing here, dude?
And that's what I'm saying. The character designs that the animators from Attack on Titan used when they were doing those Titans to make them look so abnormal and disfigured, to let you know, like these are people. like when you get towards the end and you figure out that they're just people that are just disfigured and stuff, just no control of themselves. They're just like, yeah, we got to do something like that, but make it look realistic. Like you can't. Okay, that's why it's animated, so you can draw whimsical ass shit. You know, you can't. I get it. Computers are powerful things, and you can create a whole lot of stuff, but stop. You know, and they made 3 of those, by the way.
Yeah.
They should have learned when they did like what was it, anime or AI did a what Homer Simpson would look like as a living being.
Yeah.
When you saw that, you should know. Okay, there's some animes we should never make realistic.
You know what Japan reminds me of is, you know how the Air Force budget towards the end of the year, everyone, all the leaders get together. They're like, we got to spend this money now.
Yeah.
We'll spend it or they'll take it from us.
So now they're like, all right, we have all this
softer
money.
leather
Let's hurry up and make a second movie of it.
Yeah. Quick,
Well,
before they figure out our first movie sucked.
First,
Like,
hurry up before they don't give us money for the
it's
next
like
idea
Sony
we have.
with the Spider-Man shit. Like they can't use Spider-Man, but they still have permission to use shit from the Spider-Man universe. So like every 2 years, like if they don't make a movie about Spider-Man shit in X amount of months, they lose the contract. So that's why they're just like, shit, we gotta fucking make a movie. Madam Web.
Yeah. Here.
Let's get a bunch of women and throw them in there.
Hey man, it's been about 23 months since we did a shit Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter, throw it.
You know what we need?
Morbius.
We need tits.
And then they just make a bullshit ass Spider-Man movie. So I think that Japan's probably just like, yo, we got rights to this this manga, and if we don't do anything, we're gonna lose it. Abracadabra, here's a movie.
Right, here you go. So this is the least scary man you've ever seen in your life, and he's a Titan.
Yep. But we talked about the bad ones. What are some of the? I'll start with you, EJ. What is one that you would say is not half bad? Dare I say good?
Well, I have 2, but I'm gonna go with the one I did the more research on. The other one is everyone's gonna think I'm crazy, but we'll go with the one I did more research on, which was the Rurouni Kenshin live action movie. Okay, it's they have 3 actually. It starts with Origins and goes all the way through to the Legends or the Legend Ends, which they try to cover all of the original. I don't think they do everything that's Samurai X, but they try to cover almost everything from the original Kenshin. But all the other stuff aside, all the scandals and everything else, if you watch Rurouni Kenshin, it is probably one of the anime series that is it anchors itself in real Japanese history enough that you're like, that's kind of cool to see the reflection of actual Japanese history, and then builds on some characters and some fantastical story that actually blends very well. And these live action versions of the show, I think they took a lot of that into account, because the one thing that they're good at is period pieces. Okay, especially when it comes to anything that has to go back to feudal Japan. Okay, that's kind of their shtick when it comes to stuff. So they've been doing that long enough to where Kenshin wasn't outside of to where they wouldn't be able to achieve the majority of what they wanted to make it live action. And I think that's one of the reasons why it worked well. One is it's a very good story. It's good enough to follow the story, and it's simple enough that you don't need a whole lot of special effects, is what we keep coming back to anchor people into that world, because it's set in our world. It's just set in a different time period with some skills that are obviously beyond human ability. But as far as having to be as an imaginative as like Bleach, where you're trying to meld a spirit realm into our world, they don't have to do that. So I feel like Kenshin was lucky in that aspect of its setting and the fact of their expertise. A lot of their directors and stuff have experience in doing period pieces or things related to feudal Japan, the samurais, the Ronin, everything along those lines. So Kenshin pulls that off pretty well. I think that their high points for it was the cinematography and the setting and their ability to as you see here, they bring the characters to life enough with the setting, the outfits, the casting, the cinematography, and then you notice that when they come into the action and stuff, because they've built everything else up to enough to bring you into the world, the action and everything can just go, and you don't feel the need for as much flash or flare to make you feel the nostalgia for the actual series. If you liked the series, they made it look good enough that when it comes to the action and comes to this battle scenes where you can't actually see like this perfect skill that was shown in the animated series, enough can be conveyed with that setting that it still looked good. And I think that they kind of benefit, like I said, they don't have anything too fantastical, so they don't have to come up with CGI to pull off everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ridiculous stuff in Rurouni Kenshin, of course, especially sword sizes would get to be, or like that's ridiculous. But they toned it down enough to bring it to live action, and it still stayed true enough to the source material, I think. So that's why I feel it pulls off. It goes very well. You can be a fan of just history and watch it and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you had to be versed in anything, and they didn't have to go above and beyond when it comes to setting and graphics. So I feel like Kenshin did really well. All three of them rate well with audiences. I mean, they're all 7+, which is rare for anime to live action to get in that category. Majority of anime to live action stay in the 4 to 5s. Once they hit 6, you're like, that's considered successful. And these all got 7.1 to 7.4, I believe. Yeah. So that shows a high level of success. And I believe a lot of that too is their actors that they picked were popular enough with the Japanese audiences enough to carry that too. They weren't like the Brad Pitts of their field, but enough to where they were up and coming enough to draw in, I think, a Japanese audience that really carried these movies to make enough to make 3 movies. So,
and it looks like they're wearing wigs, obviously, but at least they didn't wear the wigs that they wore in FMA.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, a lot of it they stayed close enough, but they didn't go over the top to where you would have, I mean, there's characters that would be a little too over the top.
I think with some of those, as you watch, definitely remakes made as live action. There's also over dramatic movements, and people do act like crazy. I think that's just how it is sometimes with some of those shows and movies that they make.
Yeah,
but to your point, like it just depends on like how over dramatic are you going to be? Is it going to add to it, or is it that's your now focus of that whole scene?
I think you're right. You're right with that because they reeled it in a little bit. You didn't see as much of the wire action. There was a lot of floating and fighting, but less of the wire action where, like, when we just watched a YuYu Hakusho clip, especially his lighted knee attack was like halfway across the whole screen. At some point, the camera angle is going to kill that special effect for you because it ends up looking really fake. So, and I mean, Willie brought it up. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was another example. Wire fighting, some of it goes to that totally beyond, but because they made it flowy and not hard hitting at the moment, those motions felt more like aerial combat because of the way that it was slowed down and kind of their clothing, everything flowed. The scenery around them, the trees, the bamboo trees. Natural. Yeah, it made it the whole scene felt right. So with Kenshin, they did that too. That whole fight scene in the courtyard. Yeah, there's spots where they jump and kind of their battle goes a little bit aerial, but it's not excessive. It stays in the courtyard. It's not ridiculous. Like he hit him across the city and he's running upside down on the ceiling or something, Yeah. So they kept it believable. And I think that helped.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels scenes are what we're missing.
All right, Jackie, what do you have for one that you're just like, this ain't too half bad or good?
We talked a little bit about One Piece, but I do want to bring up one, and I haven't even watched it. It's been on my to watch radar. It actually has been on my to watch radar, like that I actually want to watch, and it's Erased. So if no one's ever watched the anime Erased, it's a fantastic anime. There's it's a time bender. So something happens, and it's almost like you have to go back in time to essentially like fix the things that happened, or at least try to figure out what the uh whoever it was that did the thing, like you're trying to find that person. And you're not going to fix it maybe, or maybe you will, but you're just going back in time to essentially like figure out what happened. And Erase is a fantastic anime. I recommend it to everyone, but they came out with two different ones. So Erased had a 2016 film and a 2017 Netflix drama. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
ironically enough, the film did worse than the Netflix drama. The Netflix drama, a lot of people praised. They said that it actually captured so much of the anime, and even things that people wish the anime actually centered on more, and that apparently the manga had a different ending than the anime, and
Oh,
the
okay.
drama actually followed more in line with the manga, which is interesting because that's not normally what happens. And why I think this one was such a good success is this one didn't need CGI really a lot.
Hmm.
It's more so like think of like Inception kind of. I know Inception had some CGI, but it's more of a drama
It's more,
now that
yeah.
you now you have the person going back in time, going through the story, and you're following along. There's suspense. You are like wondering what's going to happen next. You're getting a lot more character development too, and there's a lot more scenes where like you have a lot more. And this is just from what I've read and watched too, with some clips. Without, I don't want to say spoil myself because I've seen the anime, but I also like didn't want to spoil myself because I want to watch it on my own.
Mhm.
But apparently the drama on Netflix, this is the one thing I think Netflix did really well with, was that drama. And sorry, I'm gonna bring it up right now. So the film itself was a runtime of 2 hours, 120 minutes. And the live action drama series was 12 episodes, 30 minutes each. Highly rated, 92 out of 100.
Wow.
The writer and the adaptation for the collaborators, I didn't look too much into them. Ten Shimoyama was the director for the drama series on Netflix. They just did a really fantastic job from what everyone said, and a lot of people said like the cinematography was great, the town remote and cold, the ending followed the manga, final confrontation done just like the manga, great acting and plot, stunning winter scenes, emotionally fulfilling. Like a lot of people were so happy with the drama. And I heard about this years ago, that is like when Erased was recommended to me, people were telling me to watch the drama over the anime, which is crazy.
Hmm.
And it's because they said that the drama actually like did more for the manga of what people wanted than the anime did, which is crazy. So that is one that I like want to put out there for people that are like not into the whole powers and things like we talked about Bleach, FMA, and DBZ, all that stuff. If you want a drama, I 100% recommend watching this one again. Like, and it's horrible because like I haven't seen it, so it's definitely one of those ones I still want to watch. But the film apparently also didn't get bad reviews. It just got like a hey, it was pretty good, but like rushed as always.
Yeah.
And I think that's anything like you can ask people. Harry Potter is an example.
Yeah.
As we
Still,
talk about books, even Game of Thrones, like it's the same thing. Like when you have a book that is freaking 800 pages thick, and you try to like put that all in
2 hours is not
whatever
gonna
you
cut
do,
that.
like you're not going to get everything, and you're not going to understand the lore of everything and understand why certain characters are saying something or entering or whatever. And you still might enjoy the show, but then when you read the actual source material, you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize why that person was so important, or why that scene actually was as hard hitting as it should have been. It was already hard hitting for you to watch it, but now that you read it, you're like, yeah, this is really sick. So Erased, I think like that was one of those things they did really, really freaking well on. Ones I'm just gonna like touch on just a little bit because it's just ones that people have said are like, hey, these were actually pretty good. And I'm scrolling down on my notes right now, and Willie's probably gonna bring up some of them. Is Ajin movie. It stars the same guy from Kenshin, and it's actually another visual upgrade from the anime. Golden Kamui, apparently that movie is really good. A lot of people kind of were mixed with Zom 100 because it came out in the middle of when the anime came out. So
Yeah.
they didn't say it was bad. It was just that it was awkward that they decided to come out with it like when the anime was still airing.
Yep.
We talked about Alice in Borderland, which Willie, you might mention that. And then if you guys like romance at all, there's a show called Ao Haru Ride. That's an anime. In English, it stands for Blue Spring Ride. I've read the manga. I absolutely love it. It's a romance anime. That one apparently had really great freaking reviews as well. Fun fact, same dude that directed FMA also directed a show called, or a movie called Ping Pong. Apparently that won a lot of awards and it was really great. But then he directed Full Metal Alchemist and it was pretty freaking horrible. So as we talked about, I think it just has to go with CGI and just like how much you're trying to compress. I don't know Ping Pong outside of like what I read that the director did. If it had like a manga or an anime, I have no idea. But those are things I found. And honorable mention would probably be Alita Battle Angel. I watched the live action. I loved it. So my goal is to go
Same
back.
here. I've watched. I have the anime and the live action, and it's very well done, both. And the manga has got a lot more stuff in it that you don't get to see in the anime, but they show some of it in the live action, which was kind of neat.
Yeah, that's
They have
cool.
flashbacks that you don't get, but yeah, they're straight from the manga. So that's pretty cool to see that they knew the source material enough to put it into the movie. So,
and Willie, I don't know if you're going to talk about One Piece, but for anybody that like is intimidated by those episodes, which is why I think they went the route that they went with for the live action, because also people, you look at the original animation, it's ass, like leading up until like episode, I don't know, 700.
oh my
It
God, I
takes a
can't
while.
make
It takes a while until technology, comes together.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to watch that, because it is such a great story and it's so amazing, definitely just check it out.
Yeah, when you look at current One Piece, you're just like, that's that shit, because
Yeah.
because nowadays you're watching Kaiju number 8, Demon Slayer. You're looking at this level of animation. You're like, let me give One Piece a try. You're just like, holy fuck, like this is rough. So I do like Jackie said, that's a smart way to kind of follow the story, because it's like 9 episodes, but it covers a lot of the episodes of the anime. So for my adaptation that I think is very good, I'm gonna go with Ghost in the Shell. No, I'm playing. I'm not going Ghost.
I was about to say, what? That's crazy. I thought I knew you better than that. What are you saying?
I was gonna try and keep
Jackie's about to disown you.
try and keep it straight. Scarlett Johansson, I really do feel like she embodied the role. No, I'm not, none of that stuff.
No, they did her dirty with that.
They
I
did.
think.
They did. I mean, it's a paycheck for her. She didn't
Yeah.
need it, but
She
do
didn't.
your thing, ScarJo.
Yeah.
Speaking of horrible movie decisions, this Jurassic World Rebirth.
I haven't seen it yet.
Ass.
But thanks for letting me
Wait
know.
for it to come on digital.
Yeah,
Anyway,
wait till it's free.
Alice in Borderlands. Let me tell you, probably one of the better adaptation, and I think it worked well because there is only, I believe, 3 OVAs for Alice in Borderlands, and of course, it's available on the one off-putting streaming site High Dive, right? So if you don't have High Dive, you could probably find it on another site, an alternative site or whatever. But essentially, group of kids, they get caught up. They're in another world where they have to continue to play these deadly games in order to survive, right? Based on it's like a card-based thing. So if you get like a 2 of clubs, depending on the suit of card, it's the category. So it's like a partner game or a turn-based game or something like that, based on if you get club, heart, spade, whatever. And then the number is how difficult the game will be. So if you mess around and turn like, ace of diamonds, like you're playing a very dangerous turn-based game, right? That's left up to chance. So I think it was done well. Netflix, there's 2 seasons of it. Both seasons capture pretty much all of the 3 OVAs that are over on High Dive. But because it did so popular, Netflix has announced that a season 3 is coming out, and everybody's like, the fuck? You know, like what what are you guys gonna do? And a lot of people are apprehensive because they know the last time there was a great show that had source material and kind of followed the source material until no more source material was Game of Thrones. And we all know how
Right.
Game of Thrones ended, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people are upset at what's going on. But again, I don't know what Netflix has planned. It could be
So for
something.
Alice in Borderlands, there was 2 seasons.
Yeah, so I think on Netflix there should be 2 seasons of Alice in Borderlands.
And it follows the manga.
No, the OVA. So there's 3 kind of original video animation, right? So
Okay.
they're over on High Dive. So it's like a 3-part miniseries, right? So the 2 seasons of Netflix kind of cover those 3 OVAs. So when season 2 ended and everybody's sitting back like, whew, that was very well done, Netflix. And then Netflix is like, hey, Alice in Borderlands season 3. Everybody's just like, am I missing something? You know, I'm going back on High Dive. Like, is there something I'm missing here?
That's what I'm looking up. That's why I'm like,
on the High Dive's not going to release anything else along with that.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
You said is new anime coming out?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
like, there's no other.
Are they
I haven't
planning
done
on
any
making
research. So I don't know
There's
anything.
no word on any new chapter or any next part of the Alice in Borderland story, animation wise. There's a manga that's out. I haven't read the manga. Maybe the manga goes a little bit further than what's been animated. So maybe that's what Netflix is going. So like I said, I'm still excited. And the thing is, it came out in 2020, right? The first season of Alice in Borderlands didn't really get a whole lot of love, right? Squid Games comes out a few months later in 2021. That blows up. And then now people are just like, I'm all about these games.
Korean. Yeah.
You know? And then so now they go and watch Alice in Borderlands, which I think is better than Squid Games. That's just me. But that's my whole you know.
Oh, I'm
you're
gonna add
really
this to my watch.
If you're really cultured, you would know
from my perspective.
if you want to be cheap and follow the crowd and like Squid Game. Yeah. Let me tell you about a better show if you like life and death games. But what I do
underground
like one is you over 2 seasons, you're just like, this is the group. I'm rooting for these kids. I'm rooting for these kids. And then like every episode, like you're just like, that motherfucker ain't gonna make it, dog. Oh, they got my guy. You know. So I love shows when things like that are at risk, right? You get emotionally attached to characters, and it's just like each game, like you're not watching a game like they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching the shit like, please don't kill him. Please win.
Yep.
So that's why I love it. And you get the same vibe watching the OVAs as well. Very graphic, TVMA, all of that shit. It's
the OVAs are also MA.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if it's an OVA, you probably gonna see some gore and shit.
I think maybe I'm like scarred
instead of anime. You're like,
maybe I'm scarred by like shonen and shoujo like OVAs where it's like they go on a Christmas trip.
Yeah, no, yeah, OVAs, bro. OVA like Ninjas. Was it Ninja Scroll OVA? Well, that was a OVA as well. Like you're like very visceral. Like these were things like this ain't coming out in theater. This is you got to buy the tape.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
Japan won't let us put this in theaters, but you can buy this tape and watch it in your house.
Yeah,
at your own risk type stuff.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to get
that's where like
shit.
full nudity, brains
that's
flying out, sticking on walls like that. If Japan was putting that in there, they're like, "Hey, this is OVA, bro. You gotta go buy this."
Oh, yeah, I see that the season 3 was just announced 2 days ago.
Yeah,
September 25th. So this
That's
next
what I'm-
month.
wow. So they already did it.
I'm like, bro,
What?
y'all just produced this thing. It was just like surprise. So
Yeah, so it's coming out in a month.
Well,
Yep.
you've watched both seasons of the live action, right?
Yep.
And you've watched all the OVA.
Yep.
So did
I haven't watched
the
any.
live
That's
action
good.
complete everything from the OVAs?
That's crazy. But you haven't read the manga though.
Nope.
Okay.
So that's my hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Please-
best case
Please let
scenario.
there be some source material
Material,
that
yeah.
Fingers crossed. That's
Good.
what they're doing.
because I don't want to tune into season 3 and you just retcon these. The dude wakes up. Oh, it was all a dream. I'd
Yeah.
flip the fucking table, bro.
Oh, dude.
Oh
That would be so
my
annoying.
god! I had
Isn't that
You
what
were there.
Lost was like?
You were
That's
there.
what I
Oh
heard
my
Lost
God.
was like.
I was
Lost
on
was like-
T
it was a
shift
dream.
watching Lost.
I never
watching
watched
on
Lost.
T-shift.
We don't
I was-
talk Lost.
I was literally
so
thinking about watching Lost, and my friend told me, "Don't fucking watch it." So I was like, "Okay."
Jackie, I'm talking about when Netflix was sending disc in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Apple-
there. I was
me
a
and
part of that.
Apple, we were getting disc of Lost sent,
And you were like,
burned
yeah.
through those things. 3 a.m. You up? One more episode? Don't you have work at 7? I could show up at 8.
It's
Click.
okay. We can do it.
Yep. and you
I don't
and
care.
you
I
got
sound
all
like
these
I'm drinking.
theories and
Sound like I'm
everyone's
drinking.
talking
Okay.
theories every
Hey, you
week.
go to work, you in the smoke pit. So this is what I'm thinking.
Yo, did you see what Jack did, yo? That
Yo,
everybody's
so they
fucking
moved the island. Do you think they actually moved it, or do you think it was a? So here's what I'm. And then at the end, it's just like, oh, they were just dead anyway.
Jack was dying, and this was all his life flashing before. But in the first
Yeah.
season, before they even get to like episode 3, the creators come on NBC or whatever, and they're like, "We just want to talk," because they were really popular. Everybody was like excited about it.
It was
Like,
JJ.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
bro.
J.J. Abrams and the writers. I can't remember, but they're like, "We promise you, this isn't one of those. They're just dead things."
And then it was.
Then it exactly was that. And
And
you're
then
like,
the biggest thing is, series finale. All your questions will be answered. I'm like, bro, I need to know what the smoke monster is.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
smoke
God.
monster.
Polar bear got on this goddamn tropical island.
yeah, the big pirate ship stuck on the mountain. I'm like, what is all this?
Fucker was in a wheelchair and now he can walk and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Tough.
we'll get to it. Y'all had 7 seasons to get to it. Now y'all wait until the last 2 episodes to
Yeah.
answer all these questions, and then they don't.
Did you watch Game
Are
of
you
Thrones?
nervous
Jackie?
that that's what Borderlands is gonna do now? Because
Yeah.
I hope not.
I'm nervous.
it
My-
makes me want to. So I now because you said this, now I'm gonna watch it. Like me and Steven, I'm gonna make him. It's a 4-day weekend, so now I
We're
want to
sorry,
watch this.
Steven. He's like,
The
no,
the
He's not even here. Usually he's back there, but he's actually not
Get
this
it.
time. He went
the
downstairs.
first 2 seasons, get it in. It's gonna be a good watch for you guys.
Okay.
And then just fingers crossed for episode or 3rd season.
season 3 was.
Because like
This
season
is the only one I didn't do
season
any
2,
research on.
I'm just like, oh my god, like, oh, they got her. Oh, they got him. Oh no.
It's
Oh
tough.
god.
It also reminds me of what did they do that with? Where they created another season when it wasn't done. Besides Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh. Continue. I can't remember.
Resume.
Resuming
Resume.
the-
I
resuming
can't
the-
remember. It'll hit me probably in a minute.
But yeah, those are some of the ones we thought of, we looked into. Surely there's dozens of others, and there's some that we probably haven't even been put on yet. So if you got something, you're watching it, listening, throw it in the comments, put us on game. We'll give it a shot, and then we'll 100% let you know what we think about it. But for now, let's head back to regularly scheduled programming and wrap up the show. If I can find it. Here it is. Woo! Great show.
Oh,
Excellent.
Always like
went a little over, but I think it's okay.
we're under 2 hours.
We're under
That's
2 hours.
Alright, we did good, guys.
that's a big step for us.
Hey, Billy, I think you did a good job of corralling us.
It's hard. We
I
start
really
going down
had a lot.
rabbit holes
I had a
that I
lot.
want to go down, and we'll start talking about stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that's a
No,
good.
you know,
I know.
We've been,
All these
we've
other
been doing it
ideas
for
start popping up, and
We've
it's
been
like,
doing it for months. We know. We
Yeah.
talk.
I start looking at the clock. I'm like, ooh, I want to add to that, but I can't.
I
Yeah,
know.
I
especially
know.
because-
That's why, like, when you're about to end it, I was like, really quick, Attack on Titan. really
Attack on
quick. Let's look at it and let's move on.
I'm glad Willie warned me, because after watching the series, I was like, yeah, man, I'll check this out. Like,
That's
And
how
Willie's like, "Oh my God, the Attack on Titan." I'm like, "Oh, we're moving that off the
Yeah.
list." There we
And
go.
then we didn't even talk about Full Metal Alchemist, and I was like, that was the worst one.
I mean, they got me fresh after finishing season 3. I'm just like, oh my God, bro. I'm hyped. Like, I'm
Yeah, you're
Yes.
saluting and shit, and you're like, and then you're like, "What the?"
When I saw the live action, it's when I say saw, like I was looking at
the clips and stuff.
the
Yeah.
clips and stuff, and
Oh, he brought you something? Look at
Oh.
Steve.
he
Look
brought
at
me
that.
dinner.
Oh, I thought it was a please don't make me watch a show.
No, it was dinner because he knows
Every
I
time
have
we
it.
talk about that, she's always like, "All right, I'm gonna make Steven watch this with me," and I'm just like, "Steven's gonna hate us."
No, he's been
I
downstairs.
watch
I
the
guess
dumbest shows.
he's
Like,
been
oh,
cooking,
sorry.
so he cooked me dinner. So 'cause he knows,
Oh, he's a keeper.
Okay,
he
good.
knows me
He
when
didn't make you
whenever
watch
we do
Dragon
this,
Ball, that's all.
whenever we do our podcast, especially on Thursdays, if we don't eat, I won't eat, and I'll just sit here and chill and drink with you guys, and then unfortunately, if we have to work the next day,
keeps
I'll
you
get a
alive.
strong
Oh,
buzz,
Yeah, you're
and
gonna
then he's like, "Did you eat?" And I'm like, "I did eat," and so I'm eating at 9:00 at night. So.
Oh.
But yeah, like there's so many that I was like, damn, I had so many funny pictures ready for the Full Metal Alchemist. I was so ready to just
I know.
shit on that one.
We'll just do. We gotta figure out a segment on this show where we could just like. There's so much shit to make fun of. Just like
There
10,
is.
10
We
minutes.
should,
Like
we should have the sake bombs, man.
Yeah.
We'll call it sake bombs, and it's just a
Oh,
bomb
that's a
for
good
real. Like
idea. That's
the
a good
worst.
idea.
They're
Be like-
bomb. They bombed out. They're just terrible.
before
And
we get regularly scheduled, be like, all right, this week Jackie has sake bomb 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Go. He's
Well,
just like, fam,
yeah.
look at this motherfucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's just like, and then we do each of us like boom, boom, boom. It's just like random shit.
I like that. Well,
Yeah.
I'll work on a transition for that. But that's a good idea, Eric. Look at that. And the name. And you came up with the name. Look at that.
Yeah, good job. EJ, that was sick. That was sick.
So
But-
yeah, that was. I mean,
Well,
when
that
we
means what that means though is that not that it's sake, but maybe we should.
we should have sake sake for that.
Is that what we should start
And just
adding
keep
in?
some in the fridge for when we're gonna have a
Either
segment.
that or yeah, so it's we have to go buy sake, or we need
Yeah.
to we can call them. You might know this. Well, you guys been in Korea, so remember with the soju, we used to do like you would pour it and it would be the Titanic, and you would put the shot glass into the cup of. I'm not saying we do this. I'm just saying as an example.
Yeah,
Because that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we do that.
I don't do it, but I mean,
yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, where you put the shot glass in the I think it's kase is the beer,
yep.
and then you fill up the shot glass. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys know.
Yeah.
It can be sake bombs, or it can be what's it called? I just said it.
Anything but Jaeger bombs, man. I can't.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm past that.
That was when I was like,
Everybody had that phase, Jackie.
Yeah. Because we were all
21. I was
dumb.
21. Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. 21.
There we go. We were dumb.
We had
That's-
phase.
That whole age, you're dumb. It's like,
Yeah,
People had like a whole machine in their house.
yeah.
It's Jaeger.
bro.
Like,
When I
it
was
the
younger,
hottest drink on the street.
when I was younger, super younger, 21, we'll say,
So like
I
2 years ago.
used to
Yeah.
have a Jaeger dance. I'm not even
Like, she
joking.
had a Jaeger dance.
Me
Willie.
and this girl that went to high school with, her name is Kiki. And
Her
we
name is
would
what?
her name was Kiki.
Kiki. Oh,
Her
she's not a stripper.
real name was Caitlin, but she went by Kiki. We
That's what
would
the
do a
States call
Jaeger
it.
dance. And every time we wanted Jaeger, we would do the Jaeger dance before we chug Jaeger out of the bottle.
Woo.
Yo, y'all are wild.
Swear to God.
Wild.
Ever since, I've not done that at all. since
Good
that-
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I walk into
I've done-
stores now and see Jaeger on the shelf. I'm just like, why do y'all say Jaeger and Hypnotic? Why are these still on the shelf?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only time I ever do that is if I'm just like, if there's like a,
It's a
I don't
group
know,
thing
roll
in there.
call. Yeah,
Yeah.
some group thing,
Yeah.
and they're like, we have to do this, and I'm
They always had that Jaeger, that thing with the cold, whatever it was, and all the squadrons. Remember, Luke had them all over the place. They were that tiny
Luke
little
doesn't do that shit no more.
Jaegerator thing. Like it was like a kegerator, but it was for,
little Jaeger.
yeah,
They keep
had the
Jaeger
bottle in the top,
cold.
and
It's gross.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're off the. They're like,
We're totally off the subject, guys.
Whoa.
anime.
Okay.
Y'all talk about alcohol.
If you
Anyway,
guys love drinking, this is what we're talking about.
feeling it. Anyways, everybody that tuned in, everybody listening, thank you for
Love you guys. I know it's been a
Smitty,
while.
Black, Shauna jumped in here for a bit.
Yeah,
Kenny,
people you've never seen. It's awesome.
Kenpachi. I love it. I love the support. We love you guys.
Yes,
That's
thank
what
you.
keeps us coming back. So we're gonna get better at coming back, giving you
Yeah.
some things. We'll get back to the reviewing of anime. This summer has been great so far.
Gotta get ready for that fall season.
Fall is coming up. So stay tuned. We got a lot more stuff coming out. But until next time, I'm Mac. This is Jackie, and that's EJ at the end. This has been episode 19 of Eat the Cake. You all have a great night. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace.
Thank you.
Out.